Hi, my name is Tim Roemer. I'm an Executive Director and Strategic Counselor here at APCO Worldwide. I have just returned from an almost 2-week trip to India, where we spent time with 20 members of Congress on a delegation trip, a bipartisan delegation going to India to learn more about this critically important strategic relationship between these two great democracies. I have 3 things to tell you about that trip that might be instructive for the next 12 to 24 months. My 3 takeaways start with 1. India is the new China. We've seen over the past 10 years that China has been the fastest growing economy in the world, growing at between 8 and 9.5% GDP per year. We now see India is the fastest growing economy in the world, fluctuating between about 6.9 and 7.3% per year. The interesting thing here, and what we discovered with our time in India, was that with 2 of Prime Minister Modi's policies, the goods and services tax, which will be implemented in July, and the demonetization issue that he's taking on, that could potentially add about 1.4 or 1.5% onto the already robust 7% growth rate, getting it up potentially to maybe 8.5% in the future. That is a fiery and robust rate and something that will attract all kinds of global businesses to India. Second takeaway is there is a pervading sense of optimism in India. Optimism that things are moving in a good direction, in a positive direction. Optimism that Mr. Modi and the Parliament are passing things that are gradually, through slow reforms and some big bang reforms, making a difference. State elections are taking place now that will be announced in March 11th. That will have a great deal of impact on the future, but generally there's a sense of some unity and positivity and optimism going forward. The third takeaway from my trip is that the Indian people generally think there are some positive ways of working potentially with the Trump administration, with some caveats, and I'll get to those 2 caveats. They like what Mr. Trump has said about being tough on terrorism. They like his hawkish views on China. They like a reset with Russia. They like the fact that he's a businessman, much like Mr. Modi's a businessman, and maybe there can be some deals. The 2 caveats, they're very concerned about immigration and H-1B visas being restricted or cut back. That might hurt U.S.-India relations going forward. That could be a deep concern. And secondly, they are concerned about the business relationship in some ways and the high-tech community and the impact on high-tech. When we visited Hyderabad, one of the high-tech capitals of India with Bangalore, there was a great deal of concern expressed to us in our delegation. Those are the 3 takeaways with respect to India-U.S. relations and the world economy. Mostly very positive and optimistic takeaways moving forward.